YouTube, how are you guys doing? I hope you're all doing well. Today I've got a new tutorial for you guys. What I'm going to focus on today is mostly mastering. It may only be a short tutorial because there's only so much you can do with it in a video on one certain track. It varies from track to track, and it's a lot of time needs to be spent on your personal arrangement, and a lot of things won't cross over to from one arrangement to another. So I'm going to show you some examples on this arrangement that I've been working on. I did do all this some mastering on this track already, but I've deleted it all, and I'm hopefully going to get it to sound a bit better in a short video, just to give you the principle of mastering and how you can apply it to your arrangement. And I've just got an email. Sorry about that. So yeah, let's get to it. So like I say, this is a track I've been working on. I'll play a little bit for you here, just so you can get so you can listen, see what kind of track it is, etc. And then we'll go through and I'll show you how I master a track, not only as I'm making the track, but also once I've finished the track. There's a couple of ways of doing it after you've finished the arrangement and you've got it exactly how you want it. But like I say, I'll go through that after I give you a little preview of what this track sounds like. So like I say, bear in mind this hasn't got any mastering on it, so there may be bits that sound a bit naff, but like I say, we should hopefully be able to get them sounding a bit better by the time we finish on this video. So anyway, I'll shut up jabbering on and let you listen to this a little bit.
Gotta feel love, give love. Give love.
So yeah, that's actually the first time I've heard that track without my mastering on it. So the thing I noticed just then was on this area here, you can't really hear the lead because the bass is too powerful. I mean, I'll play it again here. So if you listen, this lead here takes the back seat to the bass, which it should be the other way around really. So I'll play this bit again and see if you can hear what I mean. Hopefully you can hear that on your speakers or headphones or whatever you're using. But like I say, this lead here it seems to be behind the bass, let's say. And the reason for that is this is our equalizer. So to get this, you just double click your EQ on here, and you will get your equalizer. And this is based on this one track, so this is just our lead. So if I play this again, that's just that track. So when you're thinking of an equalizer, you've got to think of it as a whole. Your whole track is based on this same equalizer, and what you don't want is the same instruments using the same part of this equalizer. I'll try and say it as simple as possible. It's a lot more technical than this. It's different frequencies, and what you want for your whole track is to split up your leads, basses, drums, everything onto different parts of the equalizer. So then you can hear it's not overwhelming a certain part of the equalizer. So you don't want too much happening in your bass part, like the lower frequencies down here, because it'll sound muddy and just too powerful on that bit. But you know, the same can be said on every part of this equalizer. So the general rule of thumb is the only thing using the bottom part of this this equalizer here is your bass, which is this, I believe. Yeah. So what I would do is drown out all the higher frequencies, right, like that. So on its own, it might sound a bit less bright. Right, so you're getting rid of that top end of there. Now you can't really hear much difference just listening to it on its own, but the point is to make room for other instruments to take up that bit, them frequencies. So you get this this lead, and what you want to do is the opposite. So on your bass, you've got that is taking up. Actually, we could probably go a bit further with that. Try it out more. Right, so his bass is taking up this part here. So that's what. So what we want to do on our lead is take out this part. So you've got it opposite. So it's a lot more. It's a higher lead. So as you can see there, this is our lead, and that's using this area of here, and we're drowning out the lower frequencies, the bassy part of that lead, because you don't really need it if you've got a good enough bass to make up for it. And then on the bass, we've drowned out the top ends here because we don't need that from a bass. It's just not needed really. So, but that's taken up again on by our lead, which is taking up this area here. We can probably, like I said, do a bit more on that. So if I now play them together, they're not using the same frequencies on an equalizer, so you're not overwhelming parts of the equalizer. So if we listen to it again, it should sound a bit better. Now, I'm not promising hope, because like I say, it's a process that everybody has to go through that could take days and days to get right. So let's listen to this. Right, to me that sounds a lot better. So if we don't solo them out and see how it sounds now. Let's see, I think this is another lead. We've got some pads going on here. So again, on a pad you don't really need the lower end frequencies, but now you've come to the point where this lead is taking up this higher end frequency here, so you're left with the decision, what do you want out of your pads. Now if I was to drown out these top end, leaving these mid frequencies, how does our pad sound? Now to me, you can't really, to me there's a little bug at the minute with using Sylinth on Logic Pro X, so you have to like kind of go on a bit where it's not playing to or it'll just play indefinitely. But anyway, like I say, yeah, so to me I could still hear the pad just fine there, even though I've drowned out the top end frequencies and the bottom, so we're just using the mid range. Now at the minute there's we've done the bass, our lead, so, and our pad's taking up the mid frequencies. So therefore, we've got 3 different instruments here taking up 3 totally different parts of our equalizer. So there, no frequencies rather is overwhelmed. It's not pushing itself too far. You're not pushing much sound into that frequency, because each one is using its own part of the equalizer. So what you need to do is apply that to every track, pretty much. Now you your let me see where my kick is. I think this is it. Now your kick wants to go the same as your bass, and use up these lower frequencies, because if you've watched my other tutorials or just listen to music in general, they use a lot of sidechain compression in their tracks. And what sidechain compression does, it compresses your bass when your kick is happening. So your bass isn't real, it's softened when your kick is happening. So when your sidechain using sidechain compression rather, you can, because each one is cancelling each other out, it's like one, then it's like bass, kick, bass, kick, bass. They can both use this lower end of the equalizer. So you do the pretty much same thing as you've done with your bass to your kick. So you won't be able to tell that they're both using just the lower end of the equalizer. There we go. Right. So what else have we got going on here? So we've done that lead, right? This is pretty much the same thing as this lead here, I think. Let me see what the difference are. This one's got a filter on, but that one's got an Effectrix. I have done a video on this Effectrix. It's a really good plugin. I recommend it highly. You can get it for free from places that I won't really say, but it is definitely worth the money to pay for. Right, so as I was saying, let's see what this is. It's not the same thingy, but again, we've got our bass going on here, so we don't really need the bass parts, the lower frequencies of that lead. I'm telling you the truth, that's a bit low, so we'll boost this up a bit, and then let's see what this is. So what I've done here is I want to make our leads, because this is where the this is the main bit of where it all kicks in and comes up. I want my leads to be a bit brighter, so what I'm doing is I'm boosting the higher end frequencies up the top. What's this here? Yeah, so that sounds kind of muggy. I'm not sure if I've meant to do that, but we'll see. That bug is really doing my head in. That's the only thing that's keeping me regret coming to Logic X from Logic 9. I am using, oh, by the way, if anybody's interested, the way I've got Sylenth 1 working in Logic Pro X is using a plugin called 32 Lives. And what this does is converts your old 32-bit plugins to work with Logic X. It's pretty simple. I was pretty surprised at how easy it's worked, but like I said, the only thing is when I'm using Sylenth, I get that indefinite noise when I pause my arrangement or something like that. But yeah, sorry, I keep drifting off. Anyway, what we got here? Oh, I've left a bit of mastering on here from before. As you can see, I've done lots of mastering on that. I've cut off the top frequencies, and I've put a bit of gain on the from like 1000 hertz. Yeah, 1000 upwards. So let's see what this is.
give love. We gotta feel love, give love.
Something you've got to be careful of when you're boosting parts of the EQ here. As you can see, if I raise it up a bit more, you'll see we start clipping, and you really do not want that. So if I play this. As you can see there, I was clipping a bit, so just make sure you keep an eye on your levels, because you really don't want to be clipping. That's what you're trying to avoid by mastering, really. So now, to me that sounds a lot better. I can hear the lead over the bass. The bass and the lead don't seem to be fighting against each other. They seem to be working together, which is exactly what you want.
Give love.
Yeah, so that's your main instruments done, but like I say, it needs applying to pretty much everything. So here we have some percussion. This is just from a Vengeance pack. A lot of people ask me, send me messages and comments of where I get my packs from, my effects, blah blah blah, etc etc. Now, if you just search for Vengeance loops on the internet, you'll find an endless amount of them. Not just Vengeance loops. I mean, I'm not saying just use Vengeance loops, because they are quite popular, and you really don't want to be using the same as everybody else, because you want to be unique. But just for little projects like this, I tend to just use the Vengeance loops. But when I'm making tracks that I actually want to be representative of my music myself, I do take Vengeance loops, but I sometimes cut them down, take bits that I like and mash them all together, because then nobody else has done that. So it's a unique loop that nobody else has got. Or you could just, I've also done in the past, is use one shots to create just a 2-bar loop yourself. And because you're just using one shots but making it into a loop, like I say, it will be unique. Nobody else will have that loop. So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, I'm straying off again. This is going to be a longer video than I wanted. But yeah, percussion wise, let me just play this. Right, so we got someone talking to me on Skype. Go away! I'm doing a tutorial. Anyway, so what's happening in here? We've got quite a bassy tom going off, but also quite a high frequency part as well. So with your toms, like I say, you could really keep that lower end. Your tom seems to hover around here, along with your bass and your kick. But as I said with the kick, because you're sidechaining, it frees up a lot of time and some of the frequencies here. So I would lower it slightly, but not the same as your kick, because you want that tom to come through, because a tom and a kick and a bass really work really well together. But because you've got that high bit as well, you want that to kind of come through. But we've got some instruments already taking up this higher bit here, so you can boost it slightly, but I wouldn't advise it. We want to be, come up against here and a bit down here. Just boost it up a bit. Like I say, this probably will increase or decrease your volume, your main output for this track. So you may need to go up and mess with your volumes a bit. But like I say, it's all about trying to manage each frequency on each track. So if I listen to that, make sure it still sounds okay. Yeah, to me, you can't really tell. Where's this kick? Is this his kick? Yeah. So if I play just the kick, the tom, and our bass, let's see how it sounds together. As you can hear, it's adding a bit of white noise kind of thing on this top end frequency. So which I probably did before, or what I would do approaching this situation right now is try and get rid of that. Let's just work on just the power loop. Try and get rid of that hissing sound that you hear from this loop. I don't know if you'll be able to, if the recording software is picking it up, but hiss, not so much hiss. If I put it there, you can't really hear it. You want to, like I said, this is what takes the most time. It's little things like this, and I can't emphasize enough that you can't just apply what I'm telling you to every track and expect it to sound good. You need to spend time on every track, putting the time in and listening for these little things. Like with that hiss there, that would create so much problems down the line. Like with I'll show you in a bit. I've got a little sweep here, and that's sweep I actually want there, but this would really conflict with what this sound that this tom and percussion's making. So I need to get rid of it here and spend that time trying to get rid of it. So to me that sounds okay. So we'll move along. What else we've got? We've got all our effects here. With the effects, you really want to make sure, because a lot of the effects, especially from Vengeance, have a lot of bass to them. That's kind of just a cymbal thing, so that's going to take up a lot of frequencies on this high parts here, these high frequencies. So you just want to make sure they're not taking too much high frequencies, because like I say, your leads and basses want to take main stage really. These just want to be the bits that add sparkle to your track. So yeah, that's okay. I can still pick that out of that and I can still hear it. So here we have some impacts. Now this is what I was talking about with the bassy bit, I think. I was saying that's more of a clap, a reverb clap. Now you want these to stand out because these mark the start of a new section of your track. So, but you don't want, like I said, too much bass. You just don't need it there at all. So you can just take it out. It's just added stuff that added frequencies that you really don't need. I'll probably boost a bit of that because it's kind of lowered the volume since I've cut some frequencies out. Right, what we got down here? This is another bit of percussion, I believe. Yeah. So again, you can take out them low ends. I'm just gonna run that on the mid range because I've already got percussion using some of these top ranges here. So I'll use this a bit mid. Now it doesn't sound, it sounds pretty muffled here, but what I'm gonna do is boost it a bit. This is pretty much adding it, the same thing as adding it to the gain, but through your EQ. play that with the whole track. So here, what I would do is this loop that I've used here has got like quite a unique part of it here. That dun dun dun. So I would make that stand out a lot. So there we go, that sounds out a lot better. So let's listen to it as a whole and make sure we can hear that bit that I want to hear. I want that to be a part of the track. I mean, I want the whole loop to be part of the track, but it's more just filling in the gaps and dancing around the bits, the main bits of your track that you want from your percussion. But that bit I really want to stand out. So now we've equalized that bit to stand out, we should, because we've used bottom end for as bass, top end for as leads and etc. As mid part is where we can get, there's a lot of room to catch the listener here and stuff like that. So let's listen to that and make sure we can hear that bit that I wanted to hear. Yep, so I could hear that pretty much instantly, but I would say this loop's a bit loud now, so we'll just counter that by lowering our volume. I can hear a lot of claps, so what I'm actually going to do is edit this loop, I think. I'm just going to cut out these claps here. We'll do the same for this bit. This one. You can pretty much see the claps from a mile away. And big bits there. Right, and where's the bit that we wanted to keep? Right, so I'm going to keep that bit. So we can delete that. We'll paste that over there. Bring that there. We'll do the same with that, just so we're keeping a bit of consistency. I'm not trying to cut this perfectly because I'm just saying it just to emphasize it to you guys. But yeah, so what I wanted to achieve there was get rid of the clap from that loop. So we'll see if we've achieved that. No, we have a separate clap down there, so if I mute that just to get rid of it from there. We can still hear bits of these claps that are coming in here, so I'm just going to edit these out. So there, I've totally edited that that loop there just to capture that one little bit at the end there. So like I say, it's such a process mastering, and you could change a lot of your track by doing it. But we'll move on. So here is our sweep. You ideally want this in most tracks, especially in this genre of music. It just adds a bit of white noise to it, and it keeps your track alive, and it adds so much glare to it. So it's just a simple white noise. that's been side chained with your kick. So if I play that with the kick, is that that? Yeah. That's all that is. But with the sweep comes a lot of noise. Like I say, that's pretty much what it is. It's just and side chained. So you've got to really listen to what I would recommend doing for your sweep. Is if we come to just a small part here, is edit it as you're listening to it, so you can keep the bits that you want without adding too much crap basically to the EQ. So if I play that here. So as you can see there, the main changes in that sweep was up here in these high frequencies, so we'll leave those alone, and we've cut out so much crap here that we just don't need. It has made very little change to how that sounds, but we've cut out a lot of it, and that's basically, it sums up mastering as a whole. You're just cutting out them frequencies that you just don't need, that you can't really hear listening to your arrangement as a whole. You would be able to hear the differences listening by themselves, 9 times out of 10, but as a whole you will not miss those frequencies, and you are freeing up the airwaves for so much stuff that you can pick out little parts. As I was doing with that loop, you can pick out little parts of a loop and emphasize them so much, and if you apply that same thing to the whole track, you're really on your way to learning how to master a track. I mean, I'm no professional at all, far from it, but doing this has added a lot to my arrangements. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that there. You really want to be doing it to everything, but for the sake of this video and it being long already, I'm going to move on. The second part, I wanted to talk about mastering a track as a whole. Once you've finished, do all this as your thing. Is your level, you need to get your levels spot on. As I say, when you're editing the bands and the equalizers, make sure you keep an eye on your levels, make sure you can hear everything, so just make sure you're listening back to it regularly. So that doesn't sound too bad. I would ideally like to put a lot more time into that, but like I say, I've done. I already did most of this on here, and I've got it saved somewhere else, so I'll be going back to that. Right, so on your master track here, what you want to be doing is adding going to dynamics, a multipressor. And what this basically is, it's just an equalizer as we've been doing there, but you can really boost each signal, and it adds compression to it also. So let's have a listen. If we come here and play this, as you can see, especially on this bass one, it'll be different on different points of the track, but it's compressing it below 0, which is not what you want to do. You want to be gaining, and you want to be keeping as close to 0 decibels as close as you can to that without clipping as you can. So what I'm going to do is press play again, and I'm going to boost the gain of this bass track and all the other ones, so they're staying at 0 decibels, and you've got a bit of movement just above 0 decibels. You want quite a bit of movement just to give it to make sure the pumping of the track remains, because that's what you want to keep, just the whoom whoom whoom, just pumping, keep people dancing. So I'll play this here. So yeah, just play around with stuff. You just want to boost this gain and make sure your blue bars are kind of on the top end of this zero really, or fluctuating just up and down around them. I can't really tell you how exactly what to do here. You just need to press play and mess around with it until it sounds good in your ears. Like I say, it will vary a lot from different arrangements, and I should be spending a lot of time, and I have spent a lot of time on here, on this track on my other saved file, but I've deleted it just to kind of show you guys. Now, a problem you get with boosting these signals is you will be clipping on your master channel. If I play this, you'll see we're constantly in the red here. So what do we do about that? We add a dynamics adaptive limiter, and what this is going to do, it's going to keep a threshold of where our output is, but maintaining the how to put it simply, like, we want to keep the track loud without actually being loud, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So if we just play this, sorry, wait for them. Yeah, you can immediately hear that the track has been boosted. So we need to get rid of that boost, and the out ceiling, this is, as it sounds, the ceiling, this is the furthest your audio signal can go. So what I tend to do is put it at -2, just to give yourself a little headroom. So let's play around with this here. If you just kind of take interest of what I'm doing here, and what each knob is doing, and where these margins are, and where we end up, you'll get an understanding of what this plugin does. I hope I've explained it thoroughly enough, but let's listen. Let me get that back up again. So as you can see, our audio signal is never going above 0. It's just fluctuating on the end. It's actually minus 0.2 decibels. That's where our audio signal is going to stop. So yeah, as you can see there, it never reaches 0. I could probably mess around with this a bit more because it does sound a bit bass heavy. I'll get lost, and this video will be hours long if I try and go through every little bit of detail. But yeah, that pretty much goes on to the basics of mastering through your master channel. But what you can get here as well is a multimeter, or a multimeter. And if you play this, it'll tell you your correlation of where you should be, and ideally you do not want to be in this red part. So let's see if we'll go off on this main bit and see. I mean, you'll get fluctuations where it will pass here when you've got not much going on and stuff like that, because I think it finds it difficult to read at some points. But if I play it here, and we'll see whereabouts we are. Yeah, so as you can see, we are, we're well in the blue here. So, as from what my understanding of it, which is, probably limited. I mean, I'm sure there's people in the comments who could probably say 1,001 ways to master better than how I'm showing you here. But like I said, this works for me, so why not? You can get other meters up here just to make sure that'll give you various feedback of thing. You can get just a correlation meter up there if that's just what you're wanting, but I wanted to show you this. You can even get to make sure your sound is coming through stereo. So if you want it on here you're looking for you know, as much of a circle as you can, because if you were just to get a line here and you wouldn't have a left and a right, that would be a mono signal, which is not really what you want unless you're mixing in mono. So if I play this here, we should hopefully get a, you know, a pretty round circle here. It'll be a circle with spikes on probably, but yeah, if I play. Yeah, so that's okay in my eyes. Anything else? Dynamics and exciter. You could add an expander. Sorry, you could add an expander, but you really need to know what you're doing with these. And I'm not a pro on these kind of plugins. I've not really had much thingy with them, but I've started messing about with them. I don't want to really show you how to use a plugin that I'm not really comfortable with using myself, but I mean, you can play with it. I mean, that doesn't sound too bad. I mean, it's obviously doing something. Let's listen with and without it. Yeah, that's pretty much doing nothing. But yes, it probably does do something if you use it correctly. But another thing to add: make sure you've got your adaptive limiter last on your plugins for your master channel, because you need that doing its work after anything else. So with your multipressor, that's kind of boosting everything, but you don't want it the other way around, because your adaptive limiter would then be limiting your audio, and then you would be just boosting it back up with the multipressor, which is not what you want to be doing. You want to be doing the other way around. So just make sure your adaptive limiter is after everything else, pretty much. Yeah, but there is also another way of mastering. What you can do is, if you get rid of all these, and some people might tell you to do this, but I can't really see much benefit of doing it. But that's probably just me not knowing what the benefits are. But a lot of people will bounce out, they will export their track. I'm sure you'll know how to do that. If not, you'll be able to find out easily. You just highlight what you want, really. Well, this is how I do it. Export, bounce, project or selection, bounce out your track as an MP3 or whatever format you're using. Set up a new Logic arrangement, bring in that MP3 that you've got as a whole, and then do your mastering on there. But as I say, I cannot see the point of it or what the benefits are. But if anybody does know the benefits of doing it that way, like I've said, I've seen people do it that way, but I don't know why. So, like I say, I'm no professional. I don't know the answers to everything, but if you do know why, let us know in the comments below, and I'll be sure to update this video or whatnot. Yeah, like I say, guys, that is mastering, or that is how I master. It should take you a hell of a lot longer than this video. I just want to emphasize that again. I know I've said it like 2 or 3 times now, but this needs to take you a very long time. You need to bounce out your track once you've done a bit of mastering on it. Listen to it on your phone, listen to it through different headphones on your phone, listen to it in your car, listen to it at your nana's on their stereo, listen to it to your mates. Just listen to it on as many systems as you can, because each system's differently and each is set up differently. You need to get broad knowledge of how your track sounds on different systems, because people are going to be using different systems when they're listening to it, and you'll pick up on things on other systems that you haven't on in your car or whatnot. You might hear something, it's like, oh, that doesn't sound right, I need to go back and listen to that. You need to just listen to it over and over again and making odd changes, and it should take you, you know, a week. It could take you a week plus to master a track. It probably takes just as long to master a track as it does to get the foundations of your track down and get into the flow of making your track. Anything else I want to say? I feel like I've waffled on way more than I wanted to on this video, so I apologise if you wanted a short video, but yeah, it is quite an important part, is mastering. I think that's about it, guys. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you did, hit that subscribe button for more. I'm trying to get out more tutorials. as I say in all my tutorials. But you know, hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. Hit that subscribe button. Feel free to comment on this video with any bad feedback, good feedback. If you know if I did something wrong, point it out to me just so I know, because you know, I'm still learning myself. So I just like to do these tutorials to help other people who might not be as far down the road as I am. I mean, I've been doing it for quite a few years, but I still feel like I've got many more years of learning to be anywhere near good enough to make mainstream music. But yeah, again, I'm waffling on, sorry. So I'm going to cut this video off now, guys. Thank you very much for your support. You know, I'm gaining subscribers and viewers every day now, and it is far beyond my expectations where I wanted to get with these tutorials. So I just want to thank you, a deep thank you, and I really mean it, guys. And I hope to get your continued support. So thank you, goodbye, and enjoy the strains of mastering. See you later, guys. See you in the next one.